What's your biggest regret and why? I got persuaded to go to Australia with a guy I was dating. It was a 3-month trip where we were living with his family the whole time. He told me he saw no future with me when we were on the flight over. Longest 3 months of my life, haha. But hey, you've been to Australia. I hope that at least you have some memories to cherish from this trip. I declined a job with Blizzard Entertainment in Austin, TX because I didn't want to live in Texas. I was working for them through an outsource company, and they offered to pay relocation for me and everything. 3 years later and I'm in the US Army because of the recession, and I'm stationed at Featuring Hood, an hour away from Austin. Frick me. Credentials don't go away, it's never too late to apply again. Dropping out of college in '94 after 2 years. My parents were paying for school that time, but when I returned in '97, I was married. My first kid was born the second day back at uni. I was working full-time graveyard shift. I had to take school at 1, 2, 3, 4 time. I had to take out tons in loans to help afford the family, which all combined to me having serious college debt and graduating in 2003 instead of '96. What was supposed to be a 1-year break to live life a little turned into a lot more. Don't drop out of school without a serious plan to return. Years ago I pushed away people that I cared a lot about. It still hurts to see them on social media all the time and even talk with them once in a while, because we all know that it's never gonna be the same. At least we have the memories. I push people away all the time, not because I hate them, but more like I hate myself, and I need to be alone. This quote from BoJack Horseman where he is talking to himself explains it better. You're a real stupid piece of crap, and everywhere you go you destroy people. You screw up. You're making your daughter hate you, which is good, because look what happens when people love you. Not working as hard as I could have from as early as I should have. I feel like I've lost years from my life and it sucks. I procrastinate like crazy during the first few years in university and I got my degree at 25 and with crappy grades. And that mentality also kinda cost me a great relationship as well. I should have worked much harder at it too. All the things I didn't tell my sister before she died. Not telling her I loved her every day, that she wasn't a burden to me or my family for being born with a cocktail of effed up diagnoses in her head like depression and GAD, that she didn't need to apologize in her last letter to us, that it's okay for her to pass on and be happier in whatever life comes next. It's been more than 2.5 years since she did it and we're all doing okay, but dang. I'd give anything to tell her I love her one last time. I'd gladly give my life and all I have in a blink of an eye. If you can read this I'm okay and I'll be okay, but dang, I miss you more than words can say. I love you, sis. Well, that's powerful. Sorry for your loss. I regret never finding out more about my dad's earlier life. I know he used to be in the RAF and was stationed in Singapore. I know he was a keen cyclist and had been in many races around the world. I know he was a semi-pro bowler, but I don't know the specifics of anything. He was taken ill early in 2015 and diagnosed with cancer. Died Christmas 2015. When the local vicar visited to talk to us about his funeral service, his questions brought me to tears. Where was your dad born? I don't know. Where did he go to school? I don't know. What did he do when he left school? I don't know. It really hit home and made me realize how little I actually knew about my dad's life prior to me being born. I know he used to be in the RAF and was stationed in Singapore. He definitely had a mustache if that's any help. Staying in a relationship for 3 more years. After the first incidents of domestic violence, it just got worse and worse and worse until one day it was just too much. I had to go to protect myself. In the first months after I left, I blamed myself for what happened. In fact, a small part of me still does. Years later, I am still suffering the emotional and psychological consequences of my decision to tolerate my insistence that my love would prevail over the inexcusable entitlement of an increasingly toxic and violent person who thought of me as largely incidental to their narcissistic desire for fame and success. Me, who loved them more than I ever thought possible, reduced to a far too little speed bump on their road to self-fulfillment. to a far too literal punching bag they use day in and day out to resolve their deep-seated insecurities. The thing is, I find it is cold comfort for me to say to myself that they are being punished on the daily for what they did by their own warped and tormented ego. But I don't want them to be punished. I want them to be healthy and happy and whole. But I can't be the one to give them that. No one can but them. Yet they are the type to ignore that reality, and to keep trying to take it from me and any other unfortunate empath they lure in with their outwardly earnest desire to be better. I am glad I got out at all, but I regret not getting out sooner. But most of all, I regret that the world is full of people who would do such things to the people they love. I was going to buy a few $100s in Bitcoin and hope for an investment return, but my friend needed to borrow $50 and that made me think nah, probably isn't worth it. We still bring it up to this day. Remember that time you would have been super rich if I didn't borrow some money off you? Yep. That's depressing. Yep. Not asking her out, and missing my chance permanently. She's in another country now with a boyfriend and I'm still here meandering through life with a lot of anxiety and loneliness. A tale as old as time, yet it makes the pill no less bitter to swallow. I was actually browsing Reddit hoping to get my mind off her and lo and behold I find this thread. I really miss you. Heartfelt words from a tormented anus. My dad got me into go-karting when I was young. Started racing when I was 8 years old as I was obsessed with Formula 1 and wanted to race in F1 when I grew up. Got approached by a team who wanted me to race for them when I was 14, which I did. By this time I had already won multiple club championships and won big race meetings and held the lap record in my class at 2 tracks, which I still hold to this day, and raced for them for a year with 95% of expenses paid for. I was given all of their latest equipment and tech, but eventually saying just before I turned 16 that I had no interest. All I wanted to do was race, but I had just got a girlfriend and puberty got the better of me. That was my opportunity to get somewhere in life through racing as everything was going so well. That team now is very successful here in the UK and now I'm 21. It is the only regret in my life. That could have been not going to a therapist earlier. Knowing about my problems would have given me a fun college time. I could have experienced way more stuff than I did. Cause I would have been able to talk to people and work around the stuff I just don't understand have. I mean, my freaking mother could have told me that a screw is loose, but hey, just throw that sucker into the world, what might go wrong? Not hugging her. I was sad to leave and I thought that if I could act like I didn't care then it wouldn't hurt so much. I hired my best friend when he lost his job. My blood family is not a part of my life. He was my family. We ate together. He had a key to my house. He'd drop by all the time, like an episode of Seinfeld. I loved him as family. I bent over backwards to support him. He pushed boundaries until he was outright stealing money. I suspect he had a drug problem. I had to fire him. I had no choice. The last time I saw his face was when I fired him and gave him money out of my pocket to get him by. He demanded more, threatened me, spewed venomous statements. On his way out he turned to say something spiteful and I interrupted and wished him good luck and he left. I have never seen him since. Don't mix friendship and business. When I was little I was a stupid little crap, and I told my mum I loved my dad more than her. I regret that so much. I was stupid and didn't mean it. Not taking more pictures with my grandparents. 3 of them have died now and at all 3 funerals. They have been slideshows of pictures of the past and memories. I noticed that I wasn't in a lot of pictures while the rest of my family members had, which seemed like I didn't connect well with the elderly. In fact, that is not true. I just prefer to enjoy the moment and not take pictures of everything. Same goes for concerts. Sure, I do make video here and there to show my parents where I've been and what I'm up to, but mostly I am there for myself or someone else. So when we remember my grandparents I don't have many pictures where the both of us are on and it seems like I am a grandchild that doesn't give a dang. But I do have all these memories, so I guess that counts as well. I regret never pushing myself outside of my bubble when I was younger. I am now incredible numb regarding relationships because of it. Nothing hurts more than a missed opportunity. A guy offered to trade me a really nice 12-string guitar for the one I had. Clearly mine wasn't as nice as the one that I was being offered. I was suspicious and therefore refused the trade. I could kick myself. It's not a good idea to have a 12 strings as your only guitar. They sound nice, but a lot of things you just can't do with them. Not going to college. Not necessarily because a degree is useful and opens a lot of options, but mainly because of the social aspect. I had quite a few friends in high school, but then once we graduated and everyone went to college, I started seeing them less and less. They almost all lived too far away to see more than once every couple months. And because I wasn't in college, I didn't really make new friends while they did. I still keep in touch with a couple of them, but I haven't hung out with a friend in years. Literally, last time I went out with friends was around 2015, and I used to go out multiple times a week during high school and immediately after. On the one hand, I miss it, but on the other hand, I don't really have any interest in making new friends at this point. And also, having an education would be very nice, since I don't really have any skills to get employed doing a real job. The social part does matter more to me though, I think. I gave up back in middle school, just stopped caring about my future because I felt that nothing I was doing at the time had anything to do with it. Now I look back at all the things I could have learned and kick myself for being so short-sighted. I had the chance to buy Bitcoin when it was $10. I had $100 to invest in silver or Bitcoin. Not understanding or trusting some wackadoodle internet money, I bought silver. Not as bad as my parents though, they were in the kind of circles that loved Bitcoin and almost purchased $1,000 worth when it was 20 cents. They would be loaded now. One of my best friends and his mother was shot and killed by his stepfather. A few days before it happened, I told him I didn't want to play Xbox with him. I regret a lot of crap I did during my younger days, but this still eats me up. That I'm very bad at human interaction conversation. I have isolated myself the majority of my life, and it has not done me any favors. I struggle with simple everyday tasks that really aren't hard for most people. I got a DUI 10 years ago. It still haunts me and I find it completely embarrassing. I drank so much that I forgot that I put a 20 in my back pocket for a cab. The reason I forgot was that I drove so many times while tipsy. It didn't faze me at all. It was a wake-up call though. I was drinking way too much and I had to get that under control. It is my biggest regret and nearly ruined my life, but it also shed light on a growing problem. Good on you for making a change. Same thing happened to my brother 13 years ago. Still doesn't have his license. Still drinks almost every day. I wish my husband and I had just eloped. Both of our families were so mean and making us so miserable while we were planning our wedding. Half his family didn't even show up because of spite. We should have saved ourselves a lot of stress and just got married in Vegas like we had been considering. I came here to say the same thing. Our wedding was 100% my biggest regret. I compromised everything away, and even then no one was happy. When I was 17 years old, our family dog had reached the point where her was so bad we had to put her to sleep. When I brought her to the vet, they asked if I wanted to go into the room with her. She had been my dog since I was 5 and I just couldn't see her put down, so I declined to go with them. As they took her away, she looked back at me and that look haunts me to this day. I'm 50. In my senior year of high school, I asked a girl out for a date, and much to my surprise, she accepted. The day of the date she told me she couldn't make it but would be glad to do something the next day. However, she ghosted me from then on. Supposedly, her friends forbade her from going out with me. To say that I wasn't very popular in school would be an understatement. I never got an actual explanation from her of what happened, as she died a few years later in a car accident, and not getting closure on that has been something I've regretted ever since. But the only good thing that came out of it is that I learned that sometimes some things will just never be answered. So don't expect all the stories in your life to have a clean the end. Telling the truth to the military. Laugh all you want, but I naively thought the truth would set you free. Nope. I was looked at like I contracted leprosy and I wasn't allowed in. Staying so long with a covered narcissist. It's a slippery slope of insanity. The lessons still haunt me. Don't treat eBay as a dating site. She's getting married this month, I believe, to a great guy, so good on her. Really happy for her. We had feelings for each other in high school, but I was going through my cool smoker phase, so I thought I could do better. I did not and have not. I'm just glad she's happy. I had zero confidence until my late 20s because of acne, being skinny and what I felt very ugly. Found out 15 years after HS graduation that the girl I was into, as in really into, also liked me and would have happily dated me. She is now married to a well-off oil trader, living large in Dubai. Getting a degree in software engineering. By the time I finished, the industry wasn't the same as when I started. I hate the work and have nothing in common with people I work with. There are 100 tools to basically do the same thing, everyone claiming theirs is better than competition, and constant learning of those for any new project is annoying. Outsourcing in India and Vietnam has taken a lot of the work away as well. On the bright side, only 30 years to retirement. I wish I just rented. Being a homeowner is nice, but the stress involved paralyzes me some nights. Renting may have its downsides, but being able to come and go without worrying would be a major bonus for my anxiety. You're paying to live somewhere anyway, whether it's yours or someone else's. Sometimes ownership is overrated. Cheating. It's not worth it at all, and lying to her face was the most gut-wrenching thing ever. She forgave me and told me I was just immature and didn't really understand things at the time. She is a very pretty and very smart girl who is loved by anyone who meets her. Socially we just couldn't connect. I was immature and young. But when I think back, I hated what I did, but after one drunk texting rant with her one night and me sobering up the day after and rereading the texts, she was very understanding and was comforting me cause I was crying. So yeah, welcome to regretty spaghetti. At least you told her and showed how much you regretted it, no matter that you were drunk at the time. If it was me, that was the most important thing I would want under the circumstance, and would make it much easier to bear. Some people are cheated on and never get an apology. I joined a writing group close to 4 years ago. Considering the slippery slope that led to me nearly killing myself because of them, definitely one I have a lot of regrets about. Becoming a Christian. I wasted some prime years on justified judgmentalism and self-loathing. I think I missed a lot of opportunities to be friends with cool people. Rushing into relationships and ignoring red flags cost me a lot of heartache and healing, but I don't regret it fully because deeper issues were resolved. I was walking around Barcelona with a couple friends, and we went into this bakery where there was a giant chocolate croissant. I wanted to buy it and walk around just wolfing down this giant croissant. I didn't. It still haunts me. Not studying foreign languages sooner. It really changes your life in terms of mobility and the number of people you can connect with. Not wearing ear protection in a disco when I was in primary school, because I thought it looked stupid. Got permanent tinnitus. Don't wanna look stupid when going to the disco, yeah. I should have taken a 1-2 year break after HS and before college. Instead, I took a protracted 2-year break halfway through college. And by break I mean I would take one class a semester and eventually drop it to play PS3 and post stupid stuff on the internet. Getting married. Not to neg on people who are married, just saying for me it was the wrong call. I subscribed to the notion that you follow the plan and you're happy. The plan being some bulls that my former church drilled into my head. Basically you graduate college, get married, have 2.5 kids, go to church every Sunday and give your money to keep the cult going. Get a home with a picket fence and you're happy. Turns out, I don't like kids. I was actually an atheist in denial, and I didn't much appreciate cohabitation either. I tried to force it. Tried to convince myself that there was something wrong with me, something wrong with my faith, and that if I just tried a little harder I could get past it. Eventually I accepted that there wasn't anything wrong with me, Christianity is bulls, and that I just wasn't the sort of person that could follow the plan. Fortunately the marriage ended before any kids entered the picture, so all things considered I got away clean. Sure, I'm out 7 years of my life, but it could have been so much worse. Not looking after my teeth when I was younger. Much pain and fillings, extractions etc, and I'm on my way to dentures before 40, and it's all because I was stubborn about brushing when I was a child. I treated my mom, who is one of the kindest people I've ever known, like crap for 26 years. I grew out of it, somehow, but I can't ever really make it up to her. Sucks. Not expressing my true feelings to someone I loved until it was far too late. she reciprocate the feelings, but our lives have gone two very different paths. But now she is getting married to a man far more successful than I will ever be, and I'm living my best life traveling the world and working with youth. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.